Hey guys, and how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this 1953 mgtd that a friend of mine and I rescued out of a barn last, I don't know, about 7 months ago or so during the winter time. And it was parked there since 1979. We got 1 or 2 videos made on it. I think the first one was more of the rescue and dragging it home and seeing what we got. And I think possibly the second one was just getting a better assessment on the engine, getting the engine running, which we did. And then since then, after the shopping list was made, we ordered a bunch of parts. I did a bunch of work off camera just to try to move things along. Did all the brakes all the way around. Everything is new that is on them, all new wheel cylinders. The flex lines or hoses, you want to call them that. And got a new master cylinder, which has not been put in yet. I cut all the brake drums. Yeah, just really kind of give her the best opportunity you can, especially on these older cars. The circuits are single circuit, so if you get a leak somewhere, you lose all the brakes, not just half your brakes. Anyway, so I was trying to go button that up, and I figured we'd get back to just doing some more love to the engine, which still needs to be done. I got carb kits and everything. But while I was working on it, I ran into something, and I will show you what is going on with that, with the brakes right now. So we're in the back of the car, the back rear, and there's a flex line. Got hard lines going to the wheel cylinders, 1 on each side, and then the rear end moves up and down, so something has to be able to take that flex. And I call it a flex line, you call it a brake hose. Went from this coupler to that knuckle back there, that solid line again. Well, when I went to go do that, I went to go thread the new line into it, and that line right there, those threads, they are not Whitworth, British Standard, and did not, somebody cross-threaded it into the old hydraulic line, the old flex line that was there, and I went to go put it on the new line. It would not go. And then I started looking into it. Of course, yeah, they're all kind of crudely installed. You see that one zigzagging down the frame. Then there's a union up there with a brake light switch. All right, that little thing right there that goes to. Even these lines going back here, they go from that to a coupler, you know, over to the wheel. Just a mix match of crap. And I tried finding a brake line that would fit on this locally, and I could not find one. So I just wanted to show that. Here's where the master cylinder is. It looks like it's in lovely condition. So we got to go change that out too. As I said, I have a new one. This is the brake light switch. As pressure builds up, it turns the switch on. And hopefully, I'm hoping that T right there isn't all boogered up, because again, that's the other side of the line that was cross-threaded on the other side. So maybe my thought is that they flared the old nut onto a new line, and we're gonna go find out right about now. So to go fix that, I went to Moss Motors and ordered. I just ended up going for every line that there is in the car, so I'm gonna replace all the hard lines. Plus it comes with these little clips to mount it, and I don't think any of those are on the car right now. Everything's just kind of hanging or got a tie wrap going around it. I'm not gonna show us doing all the brake lines, but this is that one unit. Let's go see if we can get this to pop loose, and then this end should be able to thread into that flex line that I have to go put on the rear. You know what I mean? It either will or will not. Let's go see. And that, I'll thread into that. There you go. On the other side it doesn't. It goes in 2 threads and stops. So that's what they did. They probably flared this line, or flared the other side and put the fitting on, one of the two. So we're good. All right, so I'm gonna go change out all the lines towards the rear, put this flex line on it, and maybe I'll bring it back when we're doing that master cylinder. All right, I got up to the master cylinder replaced, and at first I thought the lines were too long for the rear. They call out, they're numbered and where they're supposed to go. And you can see that big arch that is in them. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird too. I first started to run it up, you know, hugging the rear, and it was gonna go shaping around it, but it was about, you know, again, 10 inches too long. And I looked up pictures, and believe it or not, that's how it's supposed to be. I don't quite agree with it. The only thing I could think of is that they're trying to keep it away from the rear end for chatter and or rust. These are the copper coated lines, so they shouldn't rust. And then I took fuel line, cut it, wrapped it around to help support it and kind of hold it in place, because I didn't want to leave them flapping around. I don't know if they had clamps on them or not, but I couldn't leave them like that. So that's that. And then again, the flex hose back over to the long line, running down to the rail, running down the rail. Continue on to have little the kit came with little clips to where there's holes drilled in the frame to attach to it. These two are pulled away, and then we get to deal with that. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Is there nuts on it? No, so there's no nuts on the other side of this. So those are threaded in, and that could suck. I don't know how they're going to go about coming out, and then if they are snap or whatever, they're going to suck even more. It looks like it has an access plate here, probably for the linkages. That doesn't look great either. It looks like the top two are bolted in, and one of them on the bottom corner is threaded. So I don't know. There's a little access port here in the floor. You pull. This is for putting the fluid in to the top of the master cylinder. But I don't know if like if we could take a big floorboard out of it to access it. I don't think so. It looks like they bolted down from the top through it. Unless it can slide out. Unless it can slide out from the side. Wooden car. No, there's no room for that. All right, let's go throw. Whoops. A wrench on that and see if at least these will turn. What's your over under on it? Let's see. And it's kind of like a 12.2 that. Yeah. I think I might have went. No real area to. I could see to spray the, spraying it here is not going to do anything. The bolter point is over there. I think we're going to get it. It's that one. This one. Good old cheater. My car is wooden too, so using heat I think it may not be the greatest idea either. I think they're gonna go. All right, I'll bring you back. I'm gonna go buzz them out, and we still have to figure out how this is gonna work its way out of here. I think there's probably a linkage somewhere in here. I see we got an access hole down below. Will that help us? Joke there. I don't know if we can, like, it looks like we got to pull that side cover off to pull a pin. And it looks like there's a, I'm gonna call it a cotter pin. You guys overseas call it something else. We call it a cotter pin. So this cover's got to come off so we can access that. All right, let me get those bolts out. Watch, it just falls right out of there. I don't think so. No? Yes, it does. Good. Maybe we don't have to screw around with the rest of it. I'm going to take some time, probe up inside here, blow it out, see if there's any kind of pivot that is seized. How does the rod feel? Kind of sort of good. Yeah, maybe we can get away with not screwing around with any of that. How's the brake pedal move? Should be spring return. Let's go match that master cylinder up to what we got for new. Yeah, I ended up pulling that, I got these two out, broke one, and then I decided just to kind of bend it up out of the way. Because I think we have to adjust the free play on the brake pedal. The rod, this rod that goes to it has to be adjusted for the master cylinder. It may be okay, it may not be, but I figure we get in there. We also got a broken spring, return spring. There you can see it hanging here. So I'm gonna go blow it out probably with like some compressed air. It's got a bunch of crap. Looks like it probably has a grease fitting somewhere. because I see a lot of grease building up down there. Yeah. At least it keeps it from rusting, right? Yeah. Alright, let me go deal with that. We'll clean some of this crap off, see what we even have. Again, one's the clutch pedal and this one's the brake pedal. Going back and forth, plus that feels like it actually could use a little bit of a lube. And there's a boot in here. I don't know if the boot's any good. There we go. Let's go see if the new master cylinder came with that. Well, I put all the new lines in except for the one that's this one yet to go on. So just eyeballing. It looks like this one came with, get that off of there, with the push rod. I don't know if we'd be better off trying to leave. Yeah. I just don't know if we're going to be able to unbolt that, because this is an adjustment. You want, when the brake pedal's off, you don't want to be pushing in on the master cylinder a little bit, because what will happen is the fluid can't drop down. The piston inside here has to be back all the way, and usually you leave a little bit of free play, about an eighth of an inch or so play that's in there, so the fluid can come down and replace whatever you pushed out of the cylinder, the plunger. We'll go plunger. Yeah, so whatever fluid you displace, say you're bleeding the brakes, you back off the pedal, fluid goes down, you pump the pedal up, this is in, you crack the bleeder loose somewhere on the wheel, the fluid bleeds out of it. Now you let off of this piston goes back, it's spring loaded, and fluid returns back in it. Well, if you have this in a little bit, it blocks that hole that's in there. Oh, that's tighter now. Let's get the cap off of there, I'll show you the little hole. There we go. And that rod adjusts for that, and that other rod is kind of cranked up inside there. You can actually see it. Right, and OLR, that's what I'm talking about, so it fills it up. Let's go just place it up there. We'll see how that feels. Maybe we'll throw a bolt in it, and we'll see how the rod feels if we're on the right spot for the adjustment. If we are, we'll leave the other one that's in there. If not, we might as well, if we have to unbolt it, we'll just unbolt it and change this. You know, of course, I'll put the new diaphragm with it. Yeah, we'd have to be able to unbolt that. We can get it, but it's looking pretty cruddy, you know. Let's go place that up in there. Yeah, you see how it's pushing on that? So we have to shorten that up, that distance right there. Actually, no, wait a minute, because I'm going, gotta go where the bolts are. You're doing it wrong. So from there, it almost feels like it's right. We might be okay. We'll leave this plate loose. I'm gonna go bolt everything up, and I gotta take it back off anyway, put the rubber boot on it. But we might actually be okay. Yeah, it might be all right. I was pushing it up like a regular master cylinder, the flange is here. I know, I was being an idiot. I know, you don't have to point it out. And everything's buttoned up. Looks pretty good. Bit the spring around so that the return spring is on it. I think the pre-plate is just about right. The boot's back in there. Just got one missing bolt that we won't mention. Let's go up to top and see if we can find out where this rubber plug is under the mat probably, and add some fluid. Oh, you know what I got to do first? I got to put all the drums on and adjust the brakes, because the fluid's just going to piss out the other side. But yeah, all new lines, everything's been replaced, so should be good for another 40 years, right? Put the front brake drums on. I'll show you how the brake adjustments are. It's just got a cam right there, and it's got a hole in the drum. You just ratchet them up till it binds and then back off one. The front one's got 2 wheel cylinders, so it's got 2 adjustments on it. The back just had the one. I like it. So somewhere in here, get that stuff out of the way. That's parts for it. Carb adjuster and an ignition switch. There should be a little trap door that accesses our master cylinder, which is under that mat right there. Do we lift that whole thing like right up out of it? Do we lift the whole carpet up? seems to be, I don't know. Mud wasp nest. It is, go find out where the master cylinder is and we'll figure it out from there. It might be under the seat. What's your thoughts? All right, let's go find out. So it's definitely under the carpet somewhere. I was trying to lift that front section up and I'm starting to like tear it a little bit. And I'm looking at here, there's like a button that the carpet is held down by. Right there. It's like it pops up. I wonder if I unbolt both parts of that seat and lift the carpet up from the other way. I'm guessing it's probably right about here. But again, it's all tucked underneath. This seems like it wants to lift up, but I don't want to tear it. Let's try that. Let's try unbolting it. Didn't break. Didn't break. I want to get that seat out of there because we want to clean anyway. I'm sure it's got a bunch of crud. A little nest under there, huh? Go wiggle that right. I don't know if it's attached to the back. I gotta grab it 2 hands. Yeah, just those 2 bolts in the front, and then it has like a tab that flips up into the back seat. There's wing nuts on the back of the back seat that changes the angle. Unbolted them, the seat can just lift right up, and I got that out. Definitely looks like it's been lived in, that's for sure. And where were we as far as gaining access? I gotta clean it all anyway, so I don't really mind taking all that out. There it is. Yeah, front corner. All right, let's I'm gonna take a minute because it stinks so bad. I'm gonna go clean a bunch of this crap out. I'm gonna get the other seat out on the other side, and a year on this, and vacuum it out just so it's not so horrendous. No. If I find anything cool in here, I'll show you. Promise. I figure it's time you flip the top down. I'll wipe these back windows out and just air quiet. There's 2 wing nuts in the front. I don't know if these go in earlier or later. Pop both of them out and hopefully be able to breathe. Figure that's the first time that's been probably put down in, again, since '79. Shall we leave it like that? Let's leave it like that for now. I may want to lubricate those hinges without forcing it, but at least that gets us in here. Want to see the mess that's inside? There you go. She's a little crunchy. Definitely looks like it was clean when it was put away, and then just they went to town just putting their stash in here. You know, my guess is squirrels. It could be mice too, but you know, the larger stuff is squirrels because the wood underneath is eating a little bit. Like they chomped on it, sharpened their teeth. All right, well, I'm gonna get the good old shop vac out, and probably dustpan and brush first, and then the shop vac out, and try to yank all this crap out of here instead of trying to lay my face down in it. Well, that escalated quickly. All that from wanting to put brake fluid in the master cylinder to ripping the interior out, but it needed it. Nothing, pretty much what we expected. But then I dropped this door back here. It's a little hatch area, and I started kind of vacuuming, and it all just is coming right off. I think we just kind of get rid of it altogether. I'm not going to be saving it. It has like a well down in there. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of that space is. I'm going to go clean all that crap out. Wait for something to jump out at me, aren't you? Alright, so that's the free play. That you know that it's coming back all the way, which is good. What do you think our chances are we don't make a mess without a funnel? Can we get it? Is there even room? Oh, I'm gonna make a mess. And I gotta get a funnel. I don't trust it. The other thing too is like, you can't see how much is going in it, you know? wonder if maybe get like a mirror. That master cylinder kind of reminds me of the one I put in the forklift. It has that same commercial type. Yeah, so how are you supposed to know how much is in there? We do one of the old, it's pretty full. Don't have any holes. Why is the clutch pedal going with it? Oh, the boot, just a rubber boot is drawing it. I guess if you're hitting the brakes, you're going to be hitting the clutch anyway, right? Maybe a little sun will help that. Alright, I'm going to go see what I got for like a, I might have a power bleeder. If not, I have like a hose with a check valve on it. And I just want to do this a little bit. I want to see if fluid leaks out of any of the lines, if I got a bad coupler. Alright, let's go see. Well, something's leaking. Let's go find out. It might have just splashed right over the top of it. Maybe I overfilled it and I didn't see it. That might be the case. It looks like it's running right down the side. Good. If not, it's in the master cylinder itself. Probably should have sat the cap on it. Let's go find, take a quick peek, see if we're anywhere else is an issue. Yeah, I had one of the handheld little vacuum pump ones. Yeah, you put it on the bleeder and you draw it through. If not, what I have is one that you could put on the bleeder and it just has a one-way check valve on it. Alright, we look okay. So I picked this up a while ago. It's not product placement, but I wanted to try it. And it's just a big syringe that you draw up fluid with it, and you just backfeed where the bleeder is, and it pushes the fluid up to the front. Like I said, I've never tried it. Let's see how this works out for us, hopefully. If not, we'll just go back to the traditional method. And I don't know, you think one per? I would guess that the master cylinder is going to overflow as we backfeed it, and it goes from the furthest away to the closest, I think. There's a little cheat sheet on here somewhere. Yeah, right there. From the furthest away to the closest. See if it works. Yeah, let's give it a shot. So I'm going to crack the bleeder loose, and then hopefully backfeed it. It should be pushing all the air back to the master cylinder. Now the master cylinder we're talking about, that little hole is open because the pedal's back, so I should be able to fill up the reservoir. And I'm going to stop before I get to that air. Alright. Let's call that one good. We're going to do that to each one of them, and we'll see what we got for a brake pedal. We may have to come back and do it again, but I would think that'd be enough to fill this wheel cylinder and back to the master. Is it dripping on the floor? I don't see anymore. So I hit each wheel with one syringe. I haven't pushed the pedal yet. And it's still going. It feels like I want to say it sounds like there's air in the line going to the back, or there's a leak. Let's go check it out now, see what we get now that we're kind of pushing up. Yeah, it has a pedal. There is a brake pedal. It's probably locking up the drums. And sort of bubble back too. Yeah, let's go see if any place else had an issue. I don't know if that puddle on the floor got bigger. Possibly did. Let's go see if we have moisture happening anywhere. It sounded like noise was kind of coming from the middle. And we should probably wipe that off. Imagine if it's leaking through like the casting where the bolts are. That would suck, huh? Hey, it was a... I'm gonna wipe that down. We'll hit that pedal a couple more times, and maybe I'll hit it around one more time. How about in the front? No. Because you could hear like a little bit of air still. Worst case, we could bleed it, you know, the normal way too. But I'm gonna go try that one more time. I'm not gonna bother you with any of that. But I'm gonna wipe all this down with a rag. What do we got? Where can we tell from here? Is it filled to the top? Yeah. I might take a turkey baster and draw some of it back out of the master cylinder. And it would suck if it's leaking right there, huh? I see a drip here, but it seems like there's a lot more right there, and I don't have the capacity of hitting the pedal and looking at it at the same time. Can I fire it right there? Let me try shoving a big screwdriver in there, and we'll just eyeball this. I'll wipe it off. I guess worst case scenario, I can set the camera up and climb up in the car and hit it, and then watch the video back, right? It just looks a little suspect around this bolt right here. Let's go see what we get. Can I get on it? Just hold pressure on it. I think we're okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go hit it one more time, go around it, and see if the pedal improves. Probably what I could do also is adjust the brakes one more time now that the wheel cylinders have kind of like settled the shoes. Yeah, well, look like all right. I should have put a wrench on that too before I put it up there, see if that was tight. So it didn't really improve the pedal much. So let's go around and try doing the adjusters again. I showed how they work. It's close, it's rubbing a little bit. So I'm gonna do that to all. There's only one in both rear drums and there's two on the front. So I'm gonna go give them all a click. Because again, what can happen is any play that's in the brake shoe between the drum and the shoe is how much the pedal is gonna go down. So if your brakes are really out of adjustment and your shoes have to move a long distance, your brake pedal will go all the way to the floor. The least amount of movement they move, the higher the pedal will be. So old cars that didn't have automatic adjusting brakes like this, and you know, air-cooled Volkswagens, every time you got an oil change, you go around with a little spanner wrench and adjust all the brakes back up and your pedal would come up. On Volkswagens, a little side note, on Volkswagens, a lot of people, the emergency brake gets higher and higher too as the brakes wear. So people would go and adjust emergency brakes and then the whole thing would be all screwed up because now you can never get a proper adjustment. So I went around, adjusted the brakes. I bled them traditionally, which is, you know, putting pressure on. I got a bar up there, pumped up the pedal and went to each bleeder. I got like a little hair of air out, not much. I don't know what hair of air looks like. But I think what's happening, like right now, when you hit it, you hear a noise under the car, like a clink. And then when you let off, fluid bubbles back up in the master cylinder. And a little bit should happen, but it seems like it's a decent amount. Here's what I think is happening. I think the brake light switch has a diaphragm in it and a spring. I think it pushes down, makes these two contacts, and then returns back up. I think this might be bad, and it's just using too much of the volume of the fluid up, and then of course it's spring loaded, so as soon as you let off the pressure, it pushes the fluid back again to the master cylinder. That is my guess. I'm going to leave it for now. Possibly it could be a bad master cylinder, but usually if it can get a bad master cylinder, it'll start leaking out of right here. Like if it's leaking past the plunger, the plunger's pushing this way on this one, and you know, pushes, squeezes the fluid, and when it returns, it opens back up to the hole, but that's when the fluid's popping back up. But generally, if it leaks around that, it leaks around the ass end of it here, we'd see some dripping, and I do not see that. So we'll let that go for a little bit. Next order I'll put in, because again, this is going to be unique to this car with the thread that is on it. We'll get one of them. You know, I probably should have done it in the first place. Now that I think about it, I should have just done it while I had it, because the switch itself may not be working, the brake lights. All right, let's move on. I want to do something else before I get stalled too much on that. It has brakes. It'll stop. You pump the pedal up, it comes all the way up. But you have to hit it like 2 or 3 times for it to do so, which acts like there's air in it, but there's no air in it. All right, my thought is, while it is the interior's gutted out of it. I think I'm gonna throw the wheels on it, bring it outside. It's a nice cool day, and I'm gonna fire up the steam cleaner. I want to wash all the crap off of it while it has that capacity to do so. And maybe, you know, overnight what I'll do is I'll stick a fan in the middle of it. We'll just kind of let air circulate and dry it out. But let's get rid of all the rodent infestation, the stank. Just wash the stank off of it. Hey, it sounds like it's raining now. Good timing. One for you. And we'll do our best to keep the water out of the intake. I don't think there's anything else that's really open, but I want to clean all, even with that battery acid. You guys saw the first episode. There was a big old corroded battery. You can see it all inside here. So like I said, I kind of want to wash all this crap off of here. Even just, you know, how dirty the body is. We're not looking to wax it or anything, but again, I want to get all the nasties out of it. Mice nest and everything that's under the engine bay, and then we can kind of start detailing it as we're putting stuff back together. I don't know how wet I want to try to get the floor. I really don't, but the dashboard, maybe we'll just kind of like suds it up with a soapy rag, try to get all this crap off, you know, and the mouse shit that's on it and the dash itself, and then just kind of wipe it off with a rag and maybe an air gun. All right, so it's kind of like the before. I also, unfortunately, I don't think the stain's going to come out, but it had a car cover on it, and I think somebody made a nest on top between the car cover and that and stained it. Some more there. I highly doubt that's going to come out. I don't know what the best option would be for that. I think if I bleach it, it'll turn it white, but that dark stain's going to stay there. It might even kind of make it worse. I don't mind it being that it's kind of like a dyed tea color. All right, go roll her out the door and let the bath begin. Release the brakes. And I don't know if it's in gear or not. Let's go find out. Rolls a lot easier now. The brakes were locked up before. Out we go. See that sunshine. First part of a good wash is you got to get it wet. So we'll let that let that do its thing out there in the rain, and I'm gonna go make a bucket up and get a thing of suds going. See what I got. Somebody gave me this. What's in the tote over here? It was like somebody did like auto detailing, and there might be one that's. I probably should get some spray bottles too, but I think one of these is kind of like what we're looking for. It's more like waxes, huh? But I think it's more the commercial stuff that you would use. Oh, look at that interior cleaner. Go with that one maybe. Well, that's waterless. I think yeah, spray on, wipe off. It's not. I want more of a soap. I think we can use that later. I gotta get me some little spritz bottles. How about we dissolve some OxyClean? Those little things. I think that's where it kind of like, I don't know if that's the same stuff. I thought OxyClean was, you got the foam on top of it and you worked with the foam to clean it. But again, it's so scuzzy. I'm not worried about, you know, damaging the paint. We're going to do our best to wax it afterwards, but I think that'll be good for getting all the grime out of it. Doesn't feel gritty. That's good. I didn't want like cleanser. Disgusting. Some things just make for a good feeling. And this is one of them. I think I need something a little bit more soapy. How about what you're supposed to use? Throw a little bit of that in there with that OxyClean. Ah, it's satisfying. Actually, the windshield flips down. I'm not going to soak them. I don't want to screw up the gauges, but we got to get all that crap out of the... Should probably hit them with like a little scrub brush or something too. That's about the extent I want to go. Think the windshield will go? Yeah, the wing nuts aren't moving. We'll leave it for now. Anything's hiding under here. We just pull that off. I guess that goes with it. There you go. Ah, there's another nest hanging in there. Of course there is. Hopefully you didn't rust the rim. You'll grab an air gun and take the that tire right off of there. I gotta take that rack all the way down to get it out. That's a pain. Yeah, I think you gotta pull that bar right out of it. You should be able to lift that rack right out now and the tire will fall. Come on! There's gotta be a way. There we go. Okay. That was simple. I should probably back it up out of the puddle. Might be a good idea. How about we try some carpet cleaner? Kind of the same idea, right? It's fabric. Kinda. That's like a 5-to-1 mix. Let's just see if it does anything with it. I'm just worried about it making it not, uneven. Let's go work on that. Let's go rinse. I'm gonna go rinse that real quick and see if that did any improvement for us. Work a little more. All right, did anything, did it? I'm gonna do the whole top with that anyway, just to see whatever dirt I can kind of get out of it. All right, I think it's time to heat things up. Get a little steam on it. Got to heat up first though. I'll wash the backside too. Well, I'd say we are probably a week in the future. I cleaned the bejesus out of it with the steam cleaner, and then I let it sit over here with a fan blowing through it with the doors open and let it dry everything out, which it did really nice. Looks pretty good. Again, I haven't detailed anything. You know, it's just, we just got rid of all the heavy crud, mold, and animal feces and nest and everything. Got all that washed out of it. It needed to be done. I'm not usually a fan of soaking the inside of a car, but you know, this one time it definitely made it to where it needs to be. Everything's pretty good. The acid that was around the battery box, you know, most of that has been taken care of and cleaned out of there. The engine bay looks decent. Again, nothing's detailed. You still got, you know, dirt on the car, but it's not. That's for another time of actually washing the car and waxing it and worrying about the paint. Right now, we're just worried about scuzz. Also, the seats, I think I'm going to go try spraying them with a light mix of like soapy water and bleach, just in case there's any, I don't know if there's anything in between the grooves there as far as a little bit of mold or anything. I want to give them one good shot for cleaning, then I'll stick them in, probably out in the sun. And I don't know if that's a burn. It looks like a burn, huh? In it. But, you know, clean whatever crap. Looks like bird shit or something. Got in there. And in that period of the week, we needed tires, and I was at a pick where I bought something else. Be a future video. I got a set of tires for radials that are pretty much like new. The little nipples are even on them still. So we're gonna go throw those on. I think they're Coker Classics, and we'll see how we like wide white walls. Let's go moving forward. I think I want to try getting it so that the ignition works, or we'll try. It didn't have a key. I have an ignition switch for it with a key. So maybe we'll try getting that assembly in here. Somebody was kind enough to give that to me. We got to change it inside the lock. And I guess we're going to go educate ourselves how that works. Thanks, Steve. So we got to get that out of the dash. Wherever it is. I think it's in the middle there somewhere. We'll dig that out. We'll take it apart. We'll hook it up. We'll hook power to the car, and we'll see what doesn't work like it's supposed to. And again, British car with Lucas wiring. That may be good, it may not. Let's go find out. Let's go get a ignition out of it. And before I forget, here's all those carpets too. They came out pretty good. They didn't, I was afraid like they might have been like a little on the rotten side, so when you go to wash them, they would kind of start to fray apart, but they seem like they held up decent. They still need to be vacuumed once they're put in the car, but again, the smell of them is no longer. So I'm happy that we're able to save that stuff and not have to spend more money on that. Well, looking at my stash, see what it had instead of bleach, because it is leather. I have Resolve. It's like a pet cleaner. So at some point, like a leather conditioner will need to be used on it. But you know, I want to get rid of all the grime that's on it first. Actually, the thing does pretty good. Yeah, you can see the dirt that came out of it. I'm going to go hit the other two pieces. So the ignition switch is right there in the center of it. I guess, like you said, we got to take the guts out of the center of it. And I was kind of looking at how do we access it. I was like, let's go look under the dash. And under the dash has this kick panel up under there. I was like, well, let me go drop that. But then I can see you could also unscrew the face of it. It's got like a bunch of Phillips. I don't know. I don't know which way is the best way to try to approach it. I have a better steering wheel for it than that. A friend of mine hooked me up with a factory steering wheel, which is not delaminating so bad as that one is. Let's go try taking the screws out of the dash, and we'll pull that back because we may have other switches and stuff to deal with, and it might be easier if we can, you know, maybe lay it down like that. I think that's all of them. Let's go see if it wants to play well. And I don't know if this is like a molding. Feels like the glove boxes attached. I think we're gonna have to pull that bottom section off anyway. You think the door? I wonder if the door is it's got some little regular screws holding it to the boxes. Try undoing that and then see if it'll come forward. Everything else seems like it's floating. Probably have some nesting behind there anyway that we may need to clean out, so it might be a good idea that we kind of open it up. Better. There it goes. At least you can kind of peek behind it. I know there's a hard line, a copper line going to the oil pressure gauge. I ordered a new one because it looks crappy on the other end, but that's probably what's holding us up. Let's go see if we can peek down from the top side. I took that steering wheel off too. And we got a bunch of, I would figure, all right, which one's the oil gauge? There somewhere. Water temp, amps. I don't know. Clock in the middle. It has one, I know it. It's I think it's that line right there. And it's got a little copper line that runs up. It's a clock. Oh, it's both in one, so it should be right here. What if we can undo that? My guess is, and that line right there. And our ignition switch is over here. Let's see if we can move that light. What we got to do to get that out of there? It looks like maybe we could take whatever this is in the center right here, this little nut. Maybe we can get that removed and the whole thing will come out of the center without us having to gut it. You know, try to take the whole ignition switch out. How's the rest of it look? Decent. That's how it's old wiring when it has that type of jacket on it. See one new wire right there with that blue wire going down, taped to a red. Alright, let's go see if we can get something on that little terminal in the center of it. Let's see if we can get that oil line off. It's got to come off anyway for the new one. Maybe it'll give us a little bit of more room. I'll take that steering wheel off too. It'd be nice if we can, you know, kind of like lean it down. Because on that little note of paper it says something about soldering a nut on, so we may have to get in there. I think everything else with wires would be somewhat flexible. Then we got the speedometer cable too. Let me see if we can get that speedometer cable undone, this cable undone, and let's go look into that steering wheel, what it takes to get that off. This is the better one. It looks like it might have a set screw for that center cap on it. And hopefully underneath this leather, what do we got? Any better? I don't know. Might be more of the same. Maybe we'll leave the leather on it. So apparently on that note, what it says about being soldered is this is a nut that holds the whole assembly in. And I guess they solder this to the threads. I guess it keeps it from falling apart. So you can get this one apart. So we have to figure out, I don't know, maybe like the one that's in there we don't have to really care about trying to save. So even if this part breaks off, let's see if we can find a little tiny socket. I kind of doubt it, but let me go see if I have a little socket that'll fit on over the end of that, and maybe we can unthread it. If not, I think we're gonna have to get that whole ignition switch out of there because I don't want to try putting heat down in there with all, you know, It's a wooden dashboard and all the wires that are there, so I don't want to try cooking it in place. It's making us take it out. Let's go see what we get. Let's see if any of these are... Plus there's going to be solder on the other one, right? So it may not even fit over it. I wonder if we have, do we have that in a deep? That one the same? Yeah, let's go grab the deep socket. Something's happening. Problem with this one though is we don't have the key for the tumbler, so I don't know if even after we take this apart, if it's going to have the capacity to push out the front. You know what I mean? If you have the key in it, it pulls in all the teeth for whatever it's getting locked into. Let's see if that's doing anything. Does it look any different? It's looser. Yeah, getting there. I guess we can kind of force it out of there if we have to, right? I don't know if I have any of those, I should probably get one. Those little, what do they call it, a comb that you put in for the tumblers. I was going to say we could put the key that came with the other lock, but that's not going to do it. I think they call it a comb. You put it inside where the key is. And yeah, let's go see if that'll push out. I doubt it. Make it something to push with. Yeah. So now what do? We don't have the key for it. And it's locked in. Let me think about that one. I guess it wouldn't hurt if we take the key from the other lock and at least just kind of put it in there, give it something to grab on. It'd be funny if this key works. Let's go put the A key that fits it. Coming out. I'm trying to see if that is that a washer? Yeah, let's go see if that washer. You thought I was gonna drop it, didn't you? So did I. We are halfway. Better. Can you see the key part of it? Very. Uh-oh. This one fell out. I don't want to lose the tumblers. There's no key in it. It has a couple of... Let me reset. Let me I got to get a key back in this one before we lose the tumblers. Got to reset. You're most of the way. I guess try raking that key through it there. See if we can just kind of like bounce the tumblers up and down, whatever one it's still kind of caught on. Only got to be about one more left. Yeah, they got a little thing that you put in there. It rakes. I don't even want to call it pins. What are they called? There it goes. Good, we got it. Yeah, that wasn't going to come out of there without, yeah, so we actually could probably just take those and grind them down and it'll work. I got one on the other side, it's off too. All right, let's try a new one. Which way is up? Does it have an up? Was it teeth up? We're going. Get the nut off. Let's let me go throw some whoops, stepped on the drill. Let me go throw some lube inside here before we put this all together. That light's getting right on the chrome there. Let's And give it a little. This is just light oil, I think. We have teeth up. Always teeth up. I don't know if it matters. You gonna go in? No, it turns. All right, let's go see if we can get the little washer on there, and we'll try to get the that nut back on. I'll turn that back on. I don't think we're gonna need to solder it. It has a lot of drag. See if I can not drop that. The light's right in your way. Like when you're someone's holding a flashlight for you, right? You hold this so they can see, not you. You wanted me to take the whole thing apart. Showed you. Alright, we need the ratchet, and it should have a bit still in it. Where'd that go? What'd you do with that? It's in the glove box. Alright, let's go see. Oops. Yeah, I think there's enough solder on it. It's not like the nut's gonna work its way out. I don't know if that's like a theft deterrent. Yeah, I'm gonna go work that in, and we'll try it, see what we get, and then maybe we'll put a battery in the car and see if anything kind of comes alive. Too tight. That's good. So it doesn't, it's not like it cranks it. So what is crank? A button? Yeah, probably that button right there. Alright. Before we put that dash back together, we'll leave that hang out because I'm sure we're gonna have to be getting in there for other things. Just gonna use a jumper pack, and it is positive ground. So negative goes to positive. Positive goes to negative. See, anything arcs. It starts cranking, it's in gear, drives away. Alright, we don't want the fuel pump or anything on. I'm not sure what does what. Let's go turn the key on. Something's making noise. The fuel pump is clunking very slowly, so it's still full. Oh, that's because I have the jumper lead on it. Let's disconnect the, one of these is going to be fuel pump, right? That one's fuel pump. And this one's going to be for spark to the coil. Let's get rid of that one too. So, with that hooked up, they're doing something right now. All right, let's go educate ourselves. What does what on the dash? Make sure we are in neutral. So the only thing that lit up was that. What does S and H start? And I don't know. I think they let me kill that light. Is that gauge lit up? Does it have a button on the floor that you hit for crank? I know it has one external. Let's just go see. I've never owned one of these cars before. I would think that might be horn though. Gotta have a crank button, right? People know these cars are right now just like yelling at me. You're doing it wrong. I'm gonna have to go look it up. Let me go see if I had the wires even on. That's the other part too. I may not have the wires because I was cranking the starter manually. Make sure that that is even connected. So that goes up to this mechanical, and then it has a cable. All right, so there is no push button start. It's going to be, we pull on one of these guys. There it is. So it's that one. When I get a crank out of it, let's go see if it fires manually. If we do it over here. Yeah, so we have no power out here. Something's not hooked up right for the starter. So take a double check that we have. Make sure you even have a good battery pack. And we got power. All right, I'm gonna put you in stand. I'm gonna wiggle these ends around a little bit. Maybe we don't have a good contact, and we'll see if that works. And if that works, turning the key on is just gonna put power to the coil. So we'll put a test light on it and see if we get anything. They are pretty cruddy. There we go. All right, let's go see if we pull up on that. It should work. I don't see why not. We have a light lit on the fender. All right, let's go see. This should make it crank, which it does. Good. Let's put a test light on power to the coil. And we'll turn the key on and off and see if the coil lights up. Yeah, see the two side marker lights are both lit up. It's going to be shaky camera because we're freehanding it, so I should be able to go across the battery and the test light should light up, which it does. Trying to. Yeah. And then now if the wires are still hooked up on the coil, there we go. So we have power going to the coil with that key on. So if we crank it literally should start. Let's go turn it off and see if that power goes away, which it should. Yeah, got no power there. Okay, don't need this anymore. This could disappear. That's when we were doing it bypassing everything. The carburetors are clogged. All right, so we have power. That's gonna be headlights. Yeah, there you go. So I don't know what the H is for headlights. I don't know. S is for like a, I don't know, parking light or something. We got tail lights, which is nice. Good, all the bulbs and stuff are working. Let's get the. Let's go open those carbs up so they can breathe, and let's go see if it'll fire up. We can get rid of this too. Actually, so where's the little wire for the fuel pump? Let's go check that for power too. See how much we do with the coil? When we turn the key on, this should have, the wire should have power to it. Actually, if it turns the pump. Not hearing anything. Maybe it's only when the car's cranking. I don't know. Let's go put a test light on that, see what we get. Alright, let's go turn that on. And we have no power to the fuel pump. I don't know, maybe it needs to see it cranking. But let's go give her probably some fuel already in the thing. Let's go see if we'll start. We have no choke or anything. Do we have gas pedal? I don't even know if we have that. Let's just go crank it for a little bit. What are we doing? We are on. Let's go give her. Yeah, I'm gonna go give it a little bit of a prime. So we do have a gas pedal, but I think we'll just give a little squirt down each one. The choke setup, I think, needs a little bit of love. Let's go give that and that. Let's see what it does. So I can work the gas pedal from inside. All right. Let's go have a party. Keon, Brandon. Possibly we don't have spark. We got power to the coil, but it doesn't mean we have spark. So let's go pull a plug wire off. Let's see if a plug sparks for us. Gotta hear it run, right? Yeah, let's go see if that'll do anything for us. Keys on. You see it? I can't see it. No spark. Yeah, no spark. All right, let me go do a little bit of homework, make sure we still got power going to the coil and all that happy stuff. I did get all new tune-up parts for it too, so I have a feeling we probably got, like, again, bad points or something. Not power is still going to the coil, by the way. But like I was saying, I do have all new stuff. I was gonna go try to do that. Maybe as our last videos, we go through. I got the carb tune-up kits and all, and hopefully that'll be the last one. We could go do our test drive. And other than the car just getting detailed, you know, put the carpets and the seats back in it. There we go. So I should be able to flick those points. Make sure the key is on. It is. I should be able to flick those points. I'm trying to light off and get some spark going. Get nothing going there. Let me bump it a little bit. Get it off the lube. There we go. There it goes. My guess is that those points are crap. And we're here, so let's go put some new points in it. Brand new points in condenser? I don't even know who you are anymore. Yeah, look good. It says Lucas on it. I don't know if it's Lucas China or, you know what I mean. You've been there. Yeah, but here's the sucky part. That looks like it does not fit anywhere near. Doesn't have any of the same kind of setup. Like where that post is, that's got a different setup there. Possibly you can go on that post, but that is totally different. And the condenser looks nothing like that condenser. I don't know if you could supersede it and put it in there. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna bolt in. You? Look like it'll fit? Alright, I'm gonna go take that screw out, lift that out of there. We'll just see if this will sit on that post and line up to that screw adjustment. Maybe, and then we can just wire it to that instead. We still have to get a wire going over to here though. We still have to connect to that. Yeah, how's that condenser gonna, what are you gonna do with that condenser? Where's that going? Alright, let's go try the points first. What do we want to take, the bottom one we said? Yeah. I would think that whole thing's one piece though, wouldn't you? That whole, like, half a horseshoe. Let's go. Drop it. So will that lift out of there? No. No, it's not going to do anything. Dumb. Is that loose over there? I am going to go take out what we have here. I'll take the whole assembly out, and
we'll just go clean up what we got out of the car. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go work for us. I was kind of hoping that, you know, possibly it was a like an upgrade or something. I don't think so. I'm gonna get a little wrench, unbolt that. We got a bunch of burnt wire right here. That's not probably helping things neither, huh? Don't think I have a wrench small enough for that. So we'll go with, these are actually made for ignition. Let's get out of our way too. Making room. Oh, I'm dropping the hardware neither because it's not like I have anything that fits it, you know. It's all that weird. No washer. I think we got to loosen that inner one off to get to remove tension from that band there. I don't think you have to take it all the way out. I think it just kind of like pinches it. There you go. Alright, let's go get that screw out. I don't know what holds the condenser in there. I don't know if that's like on a plate or I don't know what that bracket is going down there. Kind of looks like it's soldered in, doesn't it? It's a good thing I swept the floor in case I do drop something. One's got two washers on it, and I don't think the other one had any, did it? Oh, I had one. Alright. Let's see what we get coming out of here now. Right, well, that did come off separate. A little isolator. Because one side of the points can't make contact with anything. Let's go grab a new set just in case. Let's just go eyeball it, just in case anything lines up. And so we would go, what, over that post? Right? Would that work? Looks like the condenser is in the way, but if we get rid of that condenser, can we, I wonder if we can get this band. We'd have to have a notch in it though, you know what I mean, to make contact with that. Unless it contacts the, unless we do it like that, where the, like we tighten it up and it just rubs against that. You don't think it would be that kind of crappy, do you? Let's lift that side up. You know, that condenser just looks like it's almost like it's soldered. It's soldered right to it. So if you want to change the condenser, you got to change. Let's move this right out of our way. Let's go tighten some stuff up. And if you leave it in place and you you can't even get it without removing it. You're not going to get those in there. I was just kind of wondering if do we line up to that hole? No, so that won't work. That slot does not line up to that, so it's not going to work. Okay, I'm going to go clean up the points that we have, and I'm just going to have to buy another British car source because I bought a set of points that don't fit this car. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, they're pretty baked. And again, sometimes if that keeps happening too, the condenser's no good, and the points take the damage from it. So we'll clean both of those surfaces up, and what do I do with the other half? Right there. And you can see that one's kind of the same scenario. So the black carbon in the middle of it. So we're still going to need to get new ones. But I'd like to be able to sit in the car and be able to start it. It'd be nice. Kind of a goal. All the lights seem to be working. I didn't try. Does it have directionals? Does it even have them? I don't know. Where is it? 53? Was that a
mandatory thing back then. I also, like I said, I ordered a new brake light switch and then an oil pressure light, so I'm not gonna bother putting that dash back together. And we also got to figure out why the oil pump, fuel pump has no power going to it. All right, so I'm gonna go throw these back in and we'll check for spark again. And what I'll do is I'll take a picture of what we got. And I'll try to order the correct ones next time. One of the screwy, sucky things, trying to have that little screw and start it back in those points. They make these little tools. I've shown it plenty of times before. It's got a part number on it. Craftsman 41024, but they make a bunch of them. And all it does is it's like a little spring-loaded cam in it. You push down on it, it turns sideways and it holds the screw from falling out, so that when you're trying to get down in the hole, you're trying to start the screw in on the points. You're not trying to flubber around with it. I was going to lose the washer, right? It doesn't stop you from losing the washers, but definitely makes it easier. Especially some of them are like down in a well, you know. Tighten up that outer one. Then put the wire on it and tighten up the other nut on it and set the gap. And the gap is just set by sliding the side of it back and forth. What we got for tightness? So this one we're going to want just a little bit of drag on. And we'll be able to move that one in. I need to rotate it so that this cam is on that right there, so it's at full open. So I'm going to grab the fan and turn it to do that. And about there. And I don't know what the gap is supposed to be on this. Most points in anything is usually between 16 and 20 thou. I got a 16 thou gauge. I'm going to try running that in until I eyeball and see. That might be a little. The gauge doesn't fit down all the way in there. I'm getting a third of the way. That's too sloppy. Let's go with still a hair loose, but for now, again, we're going to be replacing them anyway. We'll get new ones, but I'm going to go turn it a little more. Let's go check that again. That's probably more like a 20 than a 16. And the biggest thing is when we turn it, they have to be able to close. That's what makes the circuit. So let's go get it back off the lobe. Okay, and let's go turn the key on and flick that a little bit. Turn the light off. All right, let's see if we get a little bit better acting spark. Yeah, there we go. You can even hear it. All right, let's go put it back together, give her a crank and see what she does. Yeah, even that new rotor I kind of questioned too. It may or may not work. Definitely a larger setup on one than the other. I'll take a picture of that too. I took a picture of what's in the distributor, so it may be just like a totally different, like two different styles that they use, or this distributor could be out of something from a different date. Let's see if it sparks now. Again, we're looking right there. Key on.
It's got spark, believe me. Woo! I got new wires and everything for it too. It kind of zapped me through the wire. Let's go back up and see if she'll fire up for us. Shouldn't need the prime, it already is. Let me go reach the gas pedal. Keys on. I would think it'd be flooded if anything. Alright, let's go. That's probably been 20 minutes screwing around. Let's go prime it one more time and see if it does anything. Could actually do it right from here. Keys on. Need this up on my thumb. Let me go figure out what we got for how to turn the choke on or off. I don't know if they call it a choke or like an enrichment. It does work on the dash. Something's happening. So we can say that's choke. There may not be any gas also in the carbs. I may have ran it out last time, I don't remember. Let's go see. We'll prime it one more time. If it runs and coughs, we will hook up the gas onto it. Alright, let me get the gas jug hooked back up to it. So my guess is it only looks like it has 2 fuses for the whole car. I'm going to go clean them real quick and we'll see if power goes to that fuel pump. Possibility that that might be our issue right there. I don't know if there's any more anywhere else. You would think it'd be more than 2, right? Yeah, we'll see. Actually, we can use a test light. Make sure our light's lit and we get power on one side. Power on the other side. No power. I got power on that side. Power on that side. Kinda. Power. Power on that side. No power. I got power to the fuse, but no power to the connection. So that's got to come out of there. It's the holder itself has corrosion on it. So you can get that fuse out. Yeah, I'm going to go clean this fuse up on a wire wheel and probably get in there with a little bit of a file on that one. Let's go double check the other one right at the terminals. That one's got power. And that one's... I think we should do them both. Oh, the wire fell off, that's why. Still going to do them both. Yeah. Power on that side. Power to the fuse, but not to the wire. So both of them have an issue. Alright, I'm going to go clean those circuits up. I'm going to disconnect that battery before I do it, and then maybe that fuel pump will come alive. A round file will be better. Yeah, you can get a round file. This is electrical contact cleaner. And let's go in. That one definitely has a pretty wide gap on it, huh? I'm gonna rinse them off again. Put those fuses back in and we'll put the test light across it again and see how they're working. Remember which one is which? I thought that one was up top. It's a 50. I think they're both 50s actually. Let's go turn the key on. Let's test light. Let's get rid of this light. Okay. Oh, I got the jumper cables off. Hold on. Let's go check out the actual post. Got power to the wires. Power to the wire. Yeah. Okay. Let's go hook that fuel pump up now. I can do it from here. Let me go put that wire on there. Actually, let me just go put the test light on it. Is any power going to it? Nope. we fixed something else, but it's not the fuel pump. Maybe that's like charging system and or wipers or something like that. Horn, who knows? And I'm gonna turn that key back off. I want to burn the points up. So that was horn. One of them was for the horn. And who knows what the other fuse was for. Got a gas can there with a hose running up to the fuel pump. And this should be power for the pump. Let's go listen to it. Does nothing. If it goes like real fast, then we know it had no fuel in it. Does it have a good ground? I know it seems weird, but that is the hot side of it. This might be a mistake. Yeah, we're not pumping anything. There's no pressure there. Alright. It is putting up a fight. That pump screwed with us the first time too. It was getting kind of wacky. It didn't want to fire, and then we had it on the bench. All of a sudden it just started up on its own. I'm going to try putting ground to the pump. I think it'd be grounding through the bracket it's on, but who knows. Let's it's not that it's missing either. This doesn't want to. It's tough. Do what you want to do. Test light on it, make sure I got power. I do. Yeah, let's try giving her a little tickle. Yeah, it's probably got a set of points in it that are crappy too. Got a pin that was falling out of the bottom. Is that it? So I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if the pump thinks it's got full pressure, but like there's the valve not released. Like if it's pumped all the way up, it's not going to try to keep pumping. So let's see what we can see. There's also a possibility from steam cleaning it, water got in there, but I wouldn't think so. Let's go see what we got. Yeah, like let's hook power to that and see what it does. What is this wire? What's that wire? Where'd that go? Maybe that was the we also got another soldered wire down here too. That looks a little aftermarket suspicious. I wonder if there was a power to the fuel pump problem. Maybe this is the lead that they were using. Let's go hook some power back up. Oh, we got gas pissed all over the place. Let's go hook some power back up and do a little exploratory education. And this is our hot. Okay. We'll grab my pantsuit. Let's go grab a jumper. And where's the pump body itself? I know I'm looking right at it. Where is it? Where'd you hide it? Right here. Okay. There she go. Hot on that side. And I think our other wire is still ground, right? Yes. Yeah. Should probably show you what I was doing, huh? I wonder if it just couldn't like complete, like it was stuck. Like I was saying, couldn't complete its stroke. There's really nothing there on the other side. This is just the pump part of it. Look how crappy it is though. That's some fuel over times. Maybe the diaphragm is just so wore out that it doesn't have enough stroke to stroke. Let's turn the key on. See if that bare wire has power. Where's the test light? Should have nothing now. Let's go turn the key on and see if that wire lights up. That might be the wire for the pump. Nope. Oh, this one down here. Here you go. Does this one turn on and off with the key? Yeah. So that's probably wherever that's going. Maybe that was what was hooked to the fuel pump for power on and off. Seems mighty close to the pump for that to have a bare wire sitting out there like that, right? All right. I'm gonna go put some stuff back together. We'll see if that pump decides to play well. All right, screw it back together. Let's go see if it. Oh, now you want to work. I should be filling the carbs up. Okay, let's regroup. Let's go get ourselves set. See if we can go start the car. See if she'll go from inside the car. Which one made it crank again? That. Turn the key on. Gas pedal. Turn all those chokes off.
They still may be in on position. Or not. That's choke. Try with choke. Come on, baby. Make sure I have all the plug wires on. Looks like it's running. It might be one carb's not getting any fuel too. I don't know if we got fuel going to both of them. It sounds like only one's got fuel. That one looks wet. They both look wet. I just don't think we have fuel pump again. We tried. Yeah, we tried. Okay. At this point, I think I want to play tap out. And we need to order some parts. Kind of runs. I was hoping to try to put in gear and, you know, putt forward and back a little bit. Well, guys, I think it's unfortunately going to be about where I'm going to end off. I wanted to have the capacity of just at least kind of, you know, put in a gear and driving it forward and driving it back and make sure that we had power to the ground, but it's just not going to happen. I got to order, again, more tune-up parts that don't fit. Distributor cap doesn't even fit neither. It's a perfectly round circle. This one has like a, it's like round with a flat on it. Kind of looks like the letter D. So it is totally the wrong setup for what I'm trying to put together. Tires, that's what it's going to look like with the white wall tires on it. I think that'll look pretty decent, kind of match the top part of it. I'm going to go and probably put the interior back together and order some more parts for it. And the last part, we got carb kits for it so we can finish doing the carbs. I think we had a float that sunk before that we were kind of questioning. We could open that up and see if that happened again. I got new plug wires to go on it. So I'm trying to get it running with junk parts that I already knew I had. I had it running, you know, the last video we actually had it running fairly decent. This time it's just not cooperating. And then the jumper pack went dead. So I'm tapping out. I'm just out of time. So I didn't want to go another week without making a video. And a friend of mine is back from his travels. So hopefully we can get back on the 7-foot boat. And I want to try to get that in the water. We can go put that around. So I'm not quite sure what's next. I have quite a few irons in the fire as far as projects coming up. I've got to go pick one up tomorrow morning. But for this one, I would like to have gotten further, but you know, it's fighting me a little bit. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to sign off, and thank you all for hanging out, and hopefully we get together next week too. Till then, I'll see you later. One more try. I have to. Fine. Fine. I said fine.